Representative Hoogendyk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to speak in support of this bill and just get a couple of reasons why. First of all, I've always been a strong proponent of local government. And I think the most local form of government in our society is the family. Nothing's more important than a strong family. A strong nation or a strong state starts with a strong foundation, which is the family, an intact family. The ideal family is a mother and a father caring for their children. I think we have a presumption here that we need to always think what is in the best interest of the child. And I wonder whether we should be thinking about the best interest of the child or the best interest of the parents, or for that matter, the best interest of the court or the community. In my opinion, I think the interest that should be first and foremost is the family. Not the children, not the parents, but the family together as a unit. And that the court should be working in that regard, thinking about what's best for the family. And in fact, I think perhaps we need to look at making the court more subservient to the interests of the family. And it's for those reasons that I believe this legislation moves us in that direction. There was a comment just made about the children being put at risk. And there's no question that children can be in a situation where they're put at risk when a court orders joint custody. But I think the evidence shows that there are more children at risk who are not placed in the custody of both parents when only one parent is awarded custody. There's plenty of evidence to that. Or to a situation where a child is placed with a single parent who then brings in a step-parent, or not even a step-parent, but a boyfriend or a girlfriend who is in a live-in situation. There's much more danger to that child in that situation than there is, I mean, statistically, than there is in a joint custody situation. And this may not be a perfect bill, but I think it's very important in the long run for the children of the state of Michigan that we move this legislation, because it's going to move us in the direction that we need to go. And that is thinking about and considering the importance of family, of two parents in the life of every child, and drawing the line that says we first need to do what we can to create or to preserve an environment where both parents are involved in the life of every child. And it's for that reason that I support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Pearce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This discussion and this particular bill has brought me to an awful lot of research, reading an awful lot of testimony, and I've come to one very sound conclusion through this entire process, and that is the greatest tragedy facing our nation and maybe even the world is the breakdown of the family. We as a culture have gone to a point where we carelessly go into marriage, where we carelessly go into divorce, where we carelessly bear children, and where we carelessly are rearing them. And the real issue that needs to be faced, we can't, because culture seems to want this casual look at relationships. And I believe it is a tragedy how that is affecting our culture today. I am in support of this bill, also not because it is perfect, but I believe the dialogue needs to continue. We need to figure out how we can best allow a child the impact of their entire extended family. When I look at my children, they were impacted not only by being raised by my wife, who has done an absolutely marvelous job, by a father who did a fairly adequate job, but by grandparents who had a tremendous impact in their growth and in their legacy, by uncles and aunts who also affected their growth in a tremendous way. And we somehow need to get to a point where we realize the importance of the extended family for these children. I agree with Representative Hoogendyk. It is not just what's best for the child, it's what's best for the family, and what's best for the family ultimately, if positively, addresses our children. Certainly we need to keep them safe. And I do understand the concerns that this bill creates in some of those issues. But we need to continue to work on this. We need to continue to dialogue and somehow help our culture realize the importance of the commitment they make when they conceive a child. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Pearce. I don't think anybody could have said that any better. As I quoted last hearing on this matter, I quoted the preamble, and I wish I had it before me, but we're to secure the purpose that we ordained, the state of Michigan ordained the Constitution to put in statute, was to secure the blessings upon ourselves and our posterity. And that's why we take up legislation as such as this, that really affects everything we do. And Representative Pearce even alluded to the grandparents, his grandparents being involved. And this custody doesn't just stop with the father and the mother, the battles. It goes on to the grandchildren. Grandparenting rights for the grandchildren. This affects every aspect. And this is costing the state of Michigan and the U.S. untold billions of dollars every year. So the chair decided to take this to a vote despite what is not as symbolic as to state a matter of importance of this legislation. And this legislation, as Representative Pearce and Representative Hoogendyk, may not be perfect, but we have to send a message to our legislatures and send it to ourselves that are returning next term. And so that's why the chair has decided to go ahead with this vote. And through many, we had last week, we had abnormal testimony and so many more today that were unheard. It's a very important matter, and so this is why we're bringing it forth, Representative Mortimer's bill. Excuse me. And perchance we could come back. This isn't the last week. We have till December 31st, and I mean we could accomplish it in the time if God permits. So that's why this, and I think we needed to bring a closure to our hearing last week. So thank you, and